Tonight on News 5 Live, the government of Belize finds itself at loggerheads with the indigenous community as the Toledo Alcaldes Association walks out of a meeting with the Attorney General earlier today. In tonight's 5-point breakdown, we explain the controversial land issue in the South. And Port of Belize says delayed services are being caused by stevedores. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
What does live and let live mean to you?
Live and let live means that I can be a mother and have a career.
It means treating people the way you would want to be treated.
And making sure your business is accessible for all Belizeans.
It means that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect.
It means to love your children no matter what.
It means to support people who face discrimination.
It means that men and women should be treated equally at work.
It means that everyone is able to contribute to building Belize.
It means saying no to all forms of discrimination.
It means love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Live and let live. Respect for all Belizeans.
Welcome to Design Depot. All in one place. Shop brands you know and trust, like Kohler. Welcome, GE Appliances.
Welcome,
Oran Windows.
Welcome,
Tiles from around the world.
welcome,
Sherwin-Williams Paint and Coatings. Visit us today at mile 3 on the Philip Golson Highway or call us at 223-3768. Design Depot, all in one place.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, May 3rd. I am Sabrina Daly. This morning in Belize City, the Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, along with the area representative for Toledo West and other government officials, met with the media at the Biltmore. The purpose of the press conference was to provide an update on developments regarding the implementations of the CCJ's consent order of 2015, as well as to share the Briceño administration's position on the friction between several Maya and non-Maya communities in the South. While reporters gathered in the Toucan Hall, representatives of the Toledo Alcaldes Association and the Maya Leaders Alliance were scheduled to meet with the Attorney General in Belmopan at 1 o'clock on the heels of the press conference. What was discussed during the briefing ultimately resulted in the Toledo Alcaldes Association walking out of the scheduled sit-down with the AG this afternoon. At the start of the arranged meeting with journalists, Minister Dolores Balderramos Garcia touched on the issue of the delimitation of the outer boundaries of Maya customary lands in the context of the tension between Yemery Grove and Laguna villages in Toledo District. She began by reading an excerpt from a report that was recently submitted by the Ministry of Natural Resources following a flare-up between residents of both communities 2 weeks ago.
Based on the findings of the inspection, the area in question is being occupied and has been illegally surveyed by the Village Council of Laguna. The area is in close proximity or adjacent to Laguna Village, where we saw clearings and construction of homes occurring. The area is being disputed by both villages as land belonging to their own communities. And so just to repeat, and just to, I guess, make the point that in our country, based on our laws, the Survey Act and the Lands Act, that as we know it, the only entity that can sanction licensed surveyors to place survey markers, the only entity in our country that can legally do that, lawfully, is licensed surveyors based on the sanction of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Petroleum. So I'd like to make that very clear. And we must make the point, with no offense to anyone, but as a responsible government, that the consent order of the Caribbean Court of Justice does not give Maya villages carte blanche. We must say that markers placed not by the Lands Department are not legally sanctioned, and therefore we want to ask parties to refrain from doing such things, especially in areas where we have some dispute.
According to the Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Dolores Balderramos Garcia, instead of taking matters into their own hands, residents of Yemery Grove and Laguna should file a report with the authorities via a dispute resolution mechanism. Commissioner of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Greg Chuck explains how the system works, as well as the involvement of his office in the present situation.
Where there are differences and possible friction on the boundaries, any aggrieved party or someone not in agreement with what's happening needs to report and not seek to take the law into their own hands. So it's unfortunate, the occurrence of a week or two ago where there may have been some breach of the peace. Thankfully, there wasn't, but we believe that there is no need for that kind of thing going forward. And so I am appealing to all concerned. Let us exercise restraint. There is no need for an escalation of any tension anywhere in the South, in particular this Toledo district.
There is a dispute resolution mechanism under this process, but we've also, at the government, at Belize, the dispute resolution mechanism is under the auspices of the CCJ. What we have done is to ask the parties to report the matter directly to the relevant ministries, in this case to the Office of the Commissioner of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, and we try to deal with the matter before it goes to the Dispute Resolution Mechanism Authority. Because the authority would come in, investigate, and still have the government of Belize address the matter. No? So we felt that it was important to address the matter, and we have been doing that. I have met personally with the village leaders of Laguna. I have met personally with the leadership of Yemery Grove, and will continue to do so to minimize and eliminate any tension or misunderstanding, or to dissuade parties or village members from engaging in activities that could cause that tension.
In Toledo West, the constituency represented by Oscar Requena, there are as many as 26 indigenous communities. Despite a position taken by government that is being met with cold water by the Toledo Alcaldes Association and the MLA, we asked if he is prepared to face the potential backlash from the indigenous community.
This is a very complex process, and a process that really requires, dialogue. So certainly, I am prepared, as the area representative, together with the support of, government and our village leaders, because we must engage our leaders, from all communities, to settle any disputes where possible. We want to settle it. We want to settle it in a very amicable manner. And for us to do that, we have to engage. We have to come to the table. All I ask is that our people be, respectful to each other, that we be reasonable with each other, and that we give the process a chance. So, to answer your question, we have to work with everyone, and that is what I am prepared to do, and we are prepared to do.
This afternoon, following the walkout in Belmopan, the Toledo Alcaldes Association issued a statement in which it said, quote, "We are at a disadvantage if we trust government officials who seem set on defeating us, set on working against us. The government has repeatedly mischaracterized our aspirations for protection of our judicially recognized rights and has repeatedly characterized communal land rights as inferior rights. But we remind you that according to the consent order, Maya land rights are defined in accordance with Maya custom. Maya communities have exclusive right to hold and determine how the land is used," end quote. News 5 spoke with Christina Koch, the TAA's spokesperson, by phone.
There was a scheduled meeting today at 9 a.m. This is following the process of engaging in good faith dialogues to advance the implementation of the CCJ consent order, and this was a meeting that was scheduled months ago. Yesterday, on our way to Belmopan, as you know, we travel from Toledo. At almost the 11th hour, the government was asking us to postpone this meeting. Unfortunately, we were not able to do so. We could not agree to that because we had made arrangements with our leaders to be here, and we were already in Belmopan. And so we asked them to reconsider. They pushed the meeting to 1 o'clock this afternoon. And basically, they didn't explain why, but we learned earlier this morning that they had scheduled a press conference on the very issues that these good faith dialogues were meant to discuss. Certainly, that could be seen as bad faith, and the fact that government insists on going through the public to communicate to the Maya party where they are, when in fact this is exactly why the good faith dialogues and meetings were recommended in the first instance. So we met with them at 1 o'clock following the press conference that they held. After listening to what they were saying at the press conference, we felt that they continued to make inflammatory statements and misrepresenting or mischaracterizing the Maya people's rights to land and resources. And fundamentally, what we gathered from their position this morning was that the government is intent on taking away the legally affirmed rights of the Maya villages, and in particular, the 26 Maya villages in the Toledo West constituent. That for us is unacceptable.
According to Koch, the Toledo Alcaldes Association and the Maya Leaders Alliance, representatives of the indigenous community demand full recognition and protection of customary land rights in accordance with the decision of the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights and the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples.
It's an attempt to completely reverse fundamentally affirmed rights that we have struggled for 3 decades. And we felt that until the government is ready to come to good faith dialogues, until they are serious about talking to us respectfully through the proper channels as respectful partners, we don't believe that we will continue to, allow them to build this kind of public misconception, because it is wrong.
Does the walkout earlier today now signify a breakdown in dialogue between the indigenous community and the government?
I would have to say, Isani, that yes, that's what it reflects, insofar as we made it abundantly clear to the government that we are prepared to come back to the table, we are prepared to come back to good faith dialogues when they are ready to, in fact, have meaningful dialogue, when they are ready to act respectfully and in good faith. But short of that, we would be wasting our time of the court and the time of the government. So the ball is in their court. When they're ready to treat this matter of implementation with some seriousness, with some genuine good faith dialogue, then we are prepared to come back to the table. Yes, I would say that the talks have broken down.
Coming up in tonight's 5-point breakdown, we explain the controversial land issue in the South. Find out the details when we come back.
Three years ago, I decided to provide respite care to young Jose who lives at the children's home. So now during the Easter, summer, and Christmas holidays, he would come and spend time with me and my daughter at our home. Sometimes he even comes on weekends. We try to engage in as many fun activities as possible, giving him all the care and attention he deserves. Even though he is with us only part-time, he has become part of my small family, and we always look forward to spending time with him during the holidays. I could not have been happier to have made this decision.
Contact the Department of Human Services and find out how you can become a foster or adoptive parent and be that heart of gold.
It seems like every other day, we hear of a family member or friend being diagnosed with a serious illness such as cancer, heart attack, kidney failure, or stroke. When these illnesses strike, you want to focus on recovery and your overall well-being. At RFG Life Insurance, we offer critical illness insurance to help with medical expenses when diagnosed with such critical illnesses, providing security to access quality healthcare facilities and to ease the worry about finances. In case you are diagnosed with a life-threatening illness that is covered by the policy, critical illness insurance pays you a lump sum amount to help you obtain access to quality treatment and medication. Having critical illness insurance provides the financial support that will bring you and your family the security and peace of mind necessary to manage these illnesses. The possibility of being diagnosed can be worrying, but by having a critical illness plan, you could have funds to assist with expenses such as medications, hospital deductibles, childcare, household expenses, and so much more. The right time to plan for the unexpected is when you're healthy. For more information, visit our office today to speak with one of our experienced agents about critical illness insurance. Your health and wellness is what matters most. Take care of it.
That's the choking sound of Dangraga Dream Ballers, who makes a lot of noise in the regular season of the BEBL, but always talks in the playoffs when it matters most. Buried alive in 2018 at the hands of the Category 5 Belize Hurricanes. In 2023, they somehow rose from the grave. So now, we've got a score to settle. Round 2 on our home turf. Let's go. This is what the Belize district has been waiting for. Payback time. And it's all going down this Friday, May 5 at the Belize Civic Center, 9 p.m. sharp. It's a rematch between your city favorites, Belize Hurricanes, and the Dangraga Dream Ballers, fighting for home court advantage throughout the playoffs in a battle dubbed as Rice and Beans versus Hudut. Rice and Beans, nice. Nobody should want to miss this showdown where the top 2 teams in the BEBL, your Hurricanes, led by Glency Coupe Lopez, Victor Vito Evans, Kirk Shabba Smith, Jamel Harris, and Chris Fraser, go up against the Dream Ballers from Dangraga, who will answer with the big giant American import Dominique Woodson, Edgar Boogie Mitchell, and Jamel Campbell. This will be a war to the end. If a war, then a war to the end. Me not run left, my friend. Remember, it's this Friday night at 9. Belize Hurricanes versus Dangraga Dream Ballers. The halftime show will feature the hottest band in the land, Bossa B. A of the halftime entertainment will include the Belize $4,000 half-court shot, as well as Smart and Cellular World cell phone and tablets giveaways throughout the game. There will also be a full-hour after-game party with Bossa B Band to end the Hurricanes' regular season homestand.
Hurricanes are one big family.
The after party will be at Thirsty Thursdays. Sponsors.
Yo, respect the city. Love the game. Family. Belize Hurricanes. Hurricanes are one big family.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
Did you know that there's a way to protect yourself from getting the hepatitis B virus?
If left untreated, hepatitis B can cause chronic liver infection and put people at a high risk of death.
Fortunately, a safe and effective vaccine for hepatitis B is available for everyone.
Hepatitis B is not only life-threatening, but highly infectious.
It is spread through contact with blood and other bodily fluids from an infected person.
Common modes of infection include mother-to-child transmission during birth, having sex without a condom, using unsterilized tattoo or piercing equipment, or even sharing razors, washcloths, or toothbrushes.
Remember, a tiny amount of blood, too small to see, is enough to infect you with hepatitis B.
There is no cure for hepatitis B, and symptoms often do not present themselves early, so many people might not know they are infected. The only way to know is to get tested.
So talk to your healthcare provider about getting tested and vaccinated to protect yourself and others from hepatitis B.
Everyone is potentially at risk of being infected, so don't wait to vaccinate.
Visit any healthcare facility countrywide to speak with a healthcare provider about getting tested and vaccinated for hepatitis B.
In our second episode of the 5-Point Breakdown, we head south to Toledo District, where the complexity of Maya land rights versus urban expansion is at the heart of the proposed de-reserving of the Forest Reserve. At word of the proposal, there was public outcry about a suspected land grab. But tonight we delve into the history of the Machaca Forest Reserve, which for almost 70 years has lost its ecological value and has been reduced to just about 3,000 acres. But in a country where land is a finite resource, who gets a piece of the new plots of land now being made available? News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
It's almost a decade later, and the infamous statement that the Lands Department is a hotbed of corruption remains etched in the minds of Belizeans across the country and elsewhere. But the snaking lines and the wait outside the Ministry of Natural Resources in Belmopan continue to be commonplace, as the process for residents to acquire what is their birthright is not without its challenges. Since 2021, the Ministry of Natural Resources, under the leadership of Deputy Prime Minister Cordell Hyde, has been hosting land clinics across the country, bringing the functions of the Lands Department to the people. And while it is to help those whose processes need finalization, there are also those first-timers who simply want a piece of land. It's a finite resource for which there is a high demand.
Everywhere we go, people want us to come back, and the places we haven't been, people want us to come. The truth of the matter is that land issues are varied, there are plenty, and a lot of them lingering for many years.
Largely across the country, when we did our campaign in 2020 towards the last election, one of the things that was very salient was that there were many people who were living 3 or 4 families in one house lot.
And so, at the core of government's policy is identifying land that can be subdivided and issued to those in need. This includes the de-reservation of a protected area. There are currently 103 protected areas that form Belize's National Protected Areas System, encompassing national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, spawning aggregation reserves, natural monuments, marine reserves, nature reserves, and forest reserves. 61% of the country's underforested areas, approximately 40%, is protected by law.
As a government, we have to make certain that we designate and delineate those areas that we want to put under protection. Traditionally and historically, Belize has protected a large portion of the country and have it as green areas. Those resources, those ecological systems are absolutely important for everything else that we do, for controlling air pollution, for trapping carbon from the atmosphere and reducing the emissions, for providing a habitat for all the wildlife, for providing water.
Established back in 1954, the Machaca Forest Reserve was designated to secure land for a pine plantation and encompassed an area of 12,800 acres. The acreage reduced over time and as of 1998 stands at approximately 3,100 acres. It served as an economic development project for residents to benefit from the controlled harvesting in the area. The protected area has been a source of bush sticks for house construction and to provide sustenance to those living nearby.
I remember that in that area there was this company, Tropical Produce Company, or TAPCO, which was harvesting cohoon at the time during the war effort. And I remember my dad telling me, because I was a pretty young kid at the time, that there was over 4,000 people living in both camps. As you know, they had trains just like they had in Stan Creek in those days, running back there to transport the cohoon. They mostly export the kernel and the shell for charcoal purpose and for purpose of making gas masks during the war. And they also use the oil for the submarines and so on.
That's the original Machaca Creek. That's the original Machaca, because the reason we call it Machaca Creek is that whenever it floods, whenever it rains, we could have go down to that creek and you could actually see the machacas just flowing in the current, and we could have actually just take a machete and make a chop. Sometimes you get 2-3 machacas. We didn't have to use net. This area used to be used a lot for logging, and right where we were standing and across the road, we actually had a lot of pine trees. But this was actually the Machaca Forest Reserve.
Back in October 2001, Hurricane Iris, a Category 4 storm, left thousands homeless and in its path destroyed the Machaca Forest Reserve. This, coupled with a bug infestation, also reduced the ecological value of the reserve. And so the de-reservation of 500 acres of the Machaca Forest Reserve to accommodate village and agricultural expansion has been given the green light by Cabinet as a solution to a clamor for land by residents, particularly in the Toledo West constituency.
The de-reservation was taken to Cabinet, it was approved, and so what our ministry was to do was to make certain, along with the Ministry of Natural Resources, who is responsible for lands, to do a land tenure assessment, and then if everything was okay, then to proceed with the Minister of Natural Resources assigning the lands for redistribution. Through land use planning now, the government will be able to say, well, listen, these areas are adequate for agriculture, these are good for tourism development, these may be good for housing and urban expansion, and so that's the process that has to happen, and we have to go through those.
But the de-reservation in itself is being met with challenges due to the ruling of the Caribbean Court of Justice on Maya land rights.
Laguna, is saying, well, this area, belongs to us, and Emery Grove is also saying, this area belongs to us. So certainly, we have to continue the dialogue and find a way, find some middle ground so that, ultimately, whilst we understand and respect the ruling of the court, we also called upon our communities and our leaders to also understand that our people have needs and we have to find a way to address those needs.
Hold it down until we can do the demarcation of the boundaries in a way. Maybe not everybody would like it, but at least there can be compromise and we can do delimitation of boundaries in consultation with neighboring villages, whether it's Maya or non-Maya.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
After the break, alleged gang member denied bail. We'll tell you about that. But first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
When the rain stopped, Brian left school wondering who he should talk to first. Suddenly, he heard someone calling him.
Brian! Hey, Brian! Hi, man. How are you doing? Did you come by canoe down the river to school?
What's up, Marta? Yes, I had to. How about you? How did you get to town?
I came with my dad to do some errands, and I saw you there at school. But since you were alone, I pretended I didn't see you.
There were no classes, but just because I was asking nonsense, they even gave me an extra assignment.
And what do you have to do?
Well, I have to talk to townspeople and ask them how climate change has affected them.
What's that climate change stuff?
Well, I don't know exactly what it is, but the teacher told me that's why it rains more than before and it's hotter. He also said it's because of that the reefs are dying and my dad can't catch any fish. Supposedly, when I speak to people, I will understand better what it is.
Well, if you want, I'll go with you. I still have nothing to do.
Brian and Marta began their town tour, wondering who they should interview first. Then they saw Mr. Oscar, who was delivering vegetables to a store.
Mr. Oscar, how's it going?
What's going on, Brian? How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. Listen, I wanted to see if I can talk to you. I want to ask if you have seen changes in the weather and if that has affected your vegetable sales.
Well, the situation has been difficult. Between rains and droughts, it's very difficult to grow crops and produce enough to make a profit.
Would you say this is because of climate change?
Well, I don't know what climate change is, but I can tell you that in all my years, I've seen that there has been a change. A few months ago, I planted some vegetables, and nothing grew because there was no rain. The heat has caused crops to become scarce, and now, due to heavy rains, I had to do an emergency harvest because much of the vegetables rotted. Some time ago, one knew exactly what to sow when the rains began, but now it doesn't rain for months, then it rains for a week, and it stops raining for another long time. In short, we are messed up.
Brian and Marta said goodbye to Mr. Oscar. Both were concerned, realizing that climate change did not only affect fishing, it also affected agriculture and that it would surely impact other people in town. They kept on walking for some time, thinking who else they should talk to.
Digi Wallet, in partnership with UNICEF, is making financial inclusion a reality. As a selected financial technology provider, Digi Wallet leveraged its robust digital platform to disperse a total of $720,000 to 900 vulnerable migrant children and their families. This program is a part of the Cash Plus pilot project, implemented in collaboration with the government of Belize and the Belize Red Cross. Digi Wallet and UNICEF's partnership supports the government of Belize's timely response to social and economic shocks using advanced and secure technology.
¿Qué más va a llevar ahorita? Me quedan 97.80 todavía. Guárdelo.
Digi Wallet's platform ensured that recipients received their funds instantly at no cost. Beneficiaries were then able to purchase essential goods, pay for their utilities, and do much more with Digi Wallet. This innovative approach of digital payment is an important milestone in advancing the social protection system in the country, allowing them to reach the most vulnerable children. We remain committed to working in partnership with key stakeholders to continue financially empowering the Belizean society by offering an accessible, safe, and useful digital platform. Digi Wallet and UNICEF, bringing equal access to financial services with the support of the Government of the United States of America through the State Department, Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration.
Investment Services Explained. In September 1999, SSB's Mortgage and Investment Unit was created. The unit later became the Investment Department in 2005 and officially Investment Services in October 2007. So, what is the Investment Services role? How does Investment Services help to support Social Security and you? And why is Investment Services important to Belize? Investment Services' function is to make prudent investments in the form of commercial loans, shares, and real estate development. The interest income generated from these investments ensures the fund is sustainable to pay current and future Social Security benefits to its insured persons. The investment income is used to support the working population and pay pensions such as retirement and invalidity. Additionally, investment loans support economic development through commercial loans to startup and existing businesses while aiding in increased production of goods and services. We can expect investment services to continuously impact the lives of every insured person through Social Security pensions. Investment services will continue to support the Belizean economy through secure investments in various industries. And that is why investment services exists. Social Security Board, an investment for you, your family, your future.
The ongoing dispute between the Port of Belize Limited, PBL, and the Christian Workers Union, CWU, has caused service delays, according to a public statement from PBL. PBL says that in May 2022, the CWU agreed to switch to a two-gang rotation, which would increase work frequency and earnings for stevedores while lowering costs for shippers and consumers. However, PBL is now facing an undesirable situation. It says that the CWU unilaterally reneged on the agreement and reverted to the less efficient one-gang, one-ship arrangement. As a result, PBL says it can only provide one container gang to work on a vessel for up to 15 hours before the vessel must move off the pier, causing delays and added costs. In its release, PBL accuses the CWU of holding the port and the country to ransom, despite PBL's attempts to improve its relationship with employees. The PBL is urging the CWU to return to the previously agreed upon two-gang rotation to enable continuous loading and unloading of vessels. Belize City resident Ronley Petillo has been accused of being a member of the George Street Gang, GSG, and was arraigned before Magistrate Denison Manon earlier today. Petillo, who was recently granted bail for rape and aggravated assault with a firearm, pleaded not guilty to the charge. According to the allegations, Petillo, who resides on Armadillo Street, belongs to the GSG, engaged in committing serious offenses as a member of a gang. Due to the nature of the offense, no bail was granted, and he was remanded into custody at the Belize Central Prison until July 3rd of 2023. Petillo's common-law wife, Kishana Boden, claims that he is being targeted by the police. She says that ever since he was shot on April 15, 2023, while on Amara Avenue, police officers have been visiting their home, claiming that they heard he had self-discharged. She refuted this claim, explaining that Petillo was discharged by the hospital. She added that police officers have been frequenting their home every day since his release, sometimes twice a day. According to Boden, Petillo had difficulty filing a police report regarding the shooting incident that landed him in the hospital. She says that Petillo knows his shooter, and during mediation with the Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, yesterday, Petillo approached his alleged shooter and asked why he shot him. No arrest has been made yet in connection with Petillo's shooting. Petillo had been on remand for 3 months for the offense of rape and aggravated assault with a firearm upon a woman before he was granted bail on March 31st, 2023 by the then Chief Magistrate Sharon Fraser. 2 weeks after his release, he was shot. As many as 3 prisoners escaped while being escorted to the Belize Central Prison over the last 4 to 5 months. The most recent escapee, 28-year-old Ryan Foster, did so on Tuesday, April 18th. 13 days later, on May 1st, Foster was arraigned on a single charge of escape from lawful custody. He is accused of escaping from the lawful custody of PC Darwin Bruhier on Mile 8 on the George Price Highway. Foster quickly pleaded guilty to the offense and apologized for his actions, telling Senior Magistrate Baha Showman, quote, "I'm sorry, I messed up," unquote. Foster, along with other prisoners, was transported to court, and it was later that officers noticed that he had escaped. Foster managed to unlock his handcuffs while sitting in the pan of the pickup. He was initially facing a prison term of 1 year for his guilty plea. However, Senior Magistrate Showman reduced it to 9 months for his early guilty plea. After considering his early guilty plea and lack of previous conviction for escape, he received a deduction of 3 months, resulting in a 6 months prison sentence. It is worth noting that on the day of Foster's escape, Senior Magistrate Baha Showman dismissed a theft charge against him when the virtual complainant requested no further court action. The controversial issue of Haitian nationals arriving in Belize before being smuggled or trafficked onward to the United States continues to raise serious concerns. While the matter presents an awkward situation for CARICOM nationals, in the context of free movement across the region, the Immigration Department has had to implement specific measures to stem the issue. Dolores Balderramas Garcia, Minister of Human Development, has weighed in on the matter.
We feel deeply for the extreme difficulty that the country of Haiti is in, and our hearts go out to a country where the people really don't even have a proper government. So, and as part of CARICOM, we do have that reaching out in terms of how we feel. Now, it's a complex issue in terms of the Haitians, because we find that the Haitians, I mean, many of them were coming on these flights, and the airlines, they don't care if they're filling the flights, they want to make money. But if Haitians are victims of trafficking because of the tens of thousands of dollars they're paying to be moved from one area to the next, if they are actual victims, then I don't think that we should participate in that, because clearly the end goal for them is not to remain in Belize. It's to go on to the mighty United States. So where we are very cognizant and where our hearts go out to the difficulty of the Haitian people, I don't believe that as a responsible government, we should be going towards allowing Haitians to use Belize as a transit country to go up north, because we see what the objective of the traffickers is, and really the needs of the people in wanting that better life.
The deadly house fire on Tuesday morning in Belize City that claimed the life of a young mother and her 2 children remains under investigation by the National Fire Service. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Human Development has also been working closely with the family of the deceased woman. According to Minister Dolores Balderramos Garcia, social workers were placed on that assignment immediately when the ministry became aware of the tragedy.
There's no fire in Belize, especially in the urban areas. I mean, I can't speak for every single rural area, but really there's no fire in the city that we do not respond immediately. Our Women and Family Support Department were on the ground immediately. We reached out to Honorable Patrick Faber, since he's the elected area rep, and there is absolutely no politics here. It is a terrible tragedy. We were immediately on the ground with both families because apparently there were 2 incidents. And we are offering support. We are making sure that surviving family members are placed with family. We are offering support in terms of food, counseling in particular, but also we will be doing the follow-up. And I do want to recognize that some of our senior staff and social workers have really gone above and beyond the call of duty. I can call, for example, Ms. Tiffany Garbott, and Ms. Anna Williams is our director. She passed it on immediately to the social workers, and I even spoke with Ms. Tiffany probably almost around 7 o'clock last night, and she was still with one of the families, and we will continue to offer the counseling and the support.
When we return, Minister Dolores welcomes CEO Marconi Leal to her ministry.
Now with that, that's the choking sound of Dangriga Dream Ballers, who makes a lot of noise in the regular season of the BEBL, but always talks in the playoffs when it matters most. Buried alive in 2018 at the hands of the Category 5 Belize Belize Hurricanes. In 2023, they somehow rose from the grave. So now, we've got a score to settle. Round 2 on our home turf. Let's go. This is what the Belize District has been waiting for. Payback time. And it's all going down this Friday, May 5 at the Belize Civic Center, 9 p.m. sharp. The rematch between your city favorites, Belize Hurricanes, and the Dangriga Dream Ballers, fighting for home court advantage throughout the playoffs in a battle dubbed as Rice and Beans versus Hudut. Rice and Beans, nice. Nobody should want to miss this showdown where the top 2 teams in the BEBL, your Hurricanes, led by Glency Coupe Lopez, Victor Vito Evans, Kirk Shabba Smith, Jamel Harris, and Chris Fraser, go up against the Dream Ballers from Dangriga, who will answer with the big giant American import Dominique Woodson, Edgar Boogie Mitchell, and Jamel Campbell. This will be a war to the end. If a war, then a war to the end. Me not run left, my friend. Remember, it's this Friday night at 9. Belize Hurricanes versus Dangriga Dream Ballers. The halftime show will feature the hottest band in the land, Bossa B. Of the halftime entertainment will include the Benny's $4,000 half-court shot, as well as smart and cellular, cell phone and tablets giveaways throughout the game. There will also be a full-hour after-game party with Bossa B Band to end the Hurricanes' regular season homestand. Hurricanes are one big family. The after-party will be at Thirsty Thursdays. Sponsors.
Yo, respect the city. Love the game. Family. Belize Hurricanes. Hurricanes are one big family.
This May, things are going to be amazing at Benny's. Find great gifts for moms such as Pyrex Bakeware, Chicago Cutlery Knife Sets, Corningware, Snapware, Corel Dinnerware, and much more at amazing prices. Also check out our impressive line of Sankey appliances and other household items. Take advantage of these amazing deals and discounts all May long, only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Hola usuario de eCash,
La aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway, from Roaring Creek to Esperanza, has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
In the wake of the decision taken by the court to deny bail to Tasia Vaughn for the shooting death of Charles Canton, the Association of Defense Attorneys has issued a release saying that it is concerned about two recent incidents involving the liberty of Belizeans who appeared before the courts. The association, which was established back in March of 2020 as a watchdog of sorts, is calling on judicial officers to be mindful that the liberty of a person in Belize is a fundamental right which should be protected. Today, News 5 spoke with the association's vice president, Michelle Trapp, who says that while judges do have the right to exercise discretion, what transpired during court on Tuesday is concerning.
Made arguments to the court why the court should not consider bail or grant bail. And after doing so, the Lawrence magistrate said bail denied without even hearing defense counsel's submission. It was defense counsel who had to say, will I be allowed to talk? I'm paraphrasing. And that was when he got an opportunity to make his submission. Remember, the magistrate had already said bail denied. And his explanation to us is that even after he made his submission, I guess in her explanation, the reason for denying bail is because it's an ongoing investigation. Bear in mind that this is a magistrate's court. All criminal matters starts at the magistrate's court. Most cases, a person is charged within 48 hours of an offense alleged to have been committed. So within that 48 hours, oftentimes or most times, the case is always ongoing. So for that to be one of the bases, the irregularity as it relates to making a decision that bail is denied just after hearing the prosecutor, making submission without allowing defense to make a submission, then make a decision. Our position is, and it's not our position, it's case law's position, the law, Constitution of Belize, fair trial. And fair trial, wrapped up in fair trial, is rule of law and due process. And we're also saying that even though a judge and a magistrate has a discretion as it relates to whether or not they will commit a person to bail, that discretion that they have must be exercised judiciously. It means the judge or the magistrate can't take anything into consideration that is not relevant.
The Association of Defense Attorneys agrees, however, that bail could have been denied for various reasons, including for protection of the defendant or that the person poses as a flight risk. But the association is also concerned about the interpretation of the law.
Having to do with public statements in court, open court statements that were made saying that bail is not a right. And so we decided to deal with that issue as well, especially because of this first issue and then what was said previously to this issue on Tuesday. But we saw it important to just remind the court that in Belize, bail is not a privilege, it's a right. And it's a right guaranteed by our Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. And we also to draw out that even though the court is the guardian of the Constitution, our association is the watchdog. Because we're the ones, more than any other attorney who practices before the court as it relates to criminal matters, who has to ensure at all times that the Constitution is protected. A defense attorney, criminal defense attorney, and the Constitution, those two go hand in hand. Because whenever you're representing, what you're representing is the constitutional protections of your of the client.
Marconi Leal Jr. has been reassigned as CEO at the Ministry of Human Development, Families and Indigenous Peoples Affairs. As we reported, CEO Leal and Minister of Transport, Youth and Sports, Rodwell Ferguson, were at odds for some time, and the irreparable breakup of their professional relationship led to Leal's reassignment. Since April 24th, Leal Jr. has been working along with CEO Tania Santos Neal under Minister Dolores Balderramos Garcia.
We're very pleased. CEO Leal brings youthful energy, he brings commitment. And I do want to make the point, and this is basically my main comment now, that the Ministry of Human Development, Families and Indigenous Peoples Affairs is a huge ministry. Many people don't realize the size of it and the scope of the work that we need to do. As a matter of fact, we have 4 major departments, which includes policy now, in addition to human services, community rehabilitation, and women and family support. So we have the policy, we call it a unit, but really it is almost like a department. And we also have, as you have seen in the briefing that we have just concluded, the difficult issues of all the Indigenous Peoples Affairs. So what we hope to do in terms of having both CEOs is to share the work and to have CEO Leal contribute in every way to all the work of the ministry. We won't put him like at a desk and say, well, you handle policy or you handle community rehab. We wouldn't do that. And already he's integrating well. We had a senior staff retreat last weekend, and he really has jumped right in with both feet, if I could put it that way. And we're very happy to have him to share the work and to work along with CEO Santos, because there really is so much to do.
News 5 confirmed with Minister Ferguson that Adel Katsim Sanchez, a former CEO under the UDP administration, has been appointed as his new CEO. Word to News 5 is that several persons were tapped as possible replacement for Leal Jr. at the Ministry of Transport, Youth and Sports, but they reportedly refused the appointment. Katsim Sanchez reported to work on Tuesday. Up next, Pomona resident wins $20,000 on Scratch and Win.
You have been a safe driver all your life when an unavoidable accident happens. But this does not mean that your insurance premium must increase. With RFG's Accident Forgiveness Program, safe drivers will not lose their no-claims discounts because of those minor, unavoidable accidents. For more information on RFG's Accident Forgiveness Program, contact us at 223-5734. When it comes to motor insurance, it pays to get it right with RFG Insurance, a road group company.
It's good to keep the environment clean. BSWAMA step up the pace. They're going places to manage your waste. So make we stand and make well sure. No garbage left on the seashore. The whole of Belize we stay clean, cause we know say worth much more. We have pretty environment. So when you see the garbage on the ground, go after me and just bag it on.
Cleanliness has always been second nature to us. So let's work together to keep our surroundings beautiful and healthy.
No garbage in it.
May 6, 2018, I suffered a hemorrhagic stroke, which is bleeding on the brain. When it happened, I went straight into a coma straight away. I flew out via air ambulance to Galenia Hospital. A week or two after waking up out the coma, I started doing therapy. They had me do therapy straight away. And I'm grateful for that because that is what made me start moving and walking again, and I got back to being normal. When I went back, I did a new CT scan, and the CT scan results showed no blood, no clot, no fluid on the brain, so I didn't require the surgery again. But I had 24-hour nurse service by my side to make sure that everything is okay with me. After I came back to Belize, they still reached out to me, asking me if everything is fine and how I'm doing, and making sure that if I have any issues, I can always go back, and I just keep contact with them. And I'm very grateful to all the doctors and nurses at Galenia for their hard work and dedication. They're the ones that have me here today.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
The Toledo frenzy has waned with the temporary suspension of the nightly draw and the Sunday lottery. But an alternative game, Scratch and Win, allows players to find out whether they've won on their investment immediately. That's as fast as you can scratch the ticket to find out. Scratch and Win's latest winner, Pedro, is a resident of Pomona Village in Stan Creek. He bought a ticket to our studio, which he said he purchased in that village on Tuesday. And when he scratched it, he discovered that he had just won quite a substantial amount.
I just start purchase, play the Scratch and Win tickets, no, and for like a month or two, I guess. I spent like $100 more or less. And yesterday I said, you know what, when I come from work, I said, make I stop and buy one scratch ticket, no? So I bought it, and I scratched the first one. When I reach home, because you know I'm tired, I'm in the drive, so when I reach home I scratch it. And I see the first one, so I was with one of my friends, and when I see the first one, I call her and I tell her, boy, I win 2,000, remember the ticket I buy at 2,000? One say, okay, but he said, how the rest, you don't check the rest? I tell her, no, not yet. But I say, you know what, make I scratch the rest. And when I got to scratch it, I see each one of them have the same 2,000, and when I see it, well, 20,000. So
you feel like there are more winning tickets like this?
Correct, yes, I feel like there are, yes.
What are you going to do with the money? How does it come in handy?
Well, I have a business, so where my wife and I are, you know, speaking about investing the whole thing. You know, the more you put in, the more jobs you could create. So.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.